Hola, como lo conocemos en nuestras redes sociales, estamos desde Bogotá en el World Business Forum y nos acompaña Magnus Scheving. Magnus es protagonista de la famosa serie infantil LazyTown. Además es productor, empresario, escritor y gimnasta. Magnus, it's been 30 years since you brought LazyTown to life. It started as a book, then a live show, and finally it became a TV series, a very successful TV series. Did you ever imagine that LazyTown will be so successful, becoming your personal brand?
Yes and no. Yes, because I used to test LazyTown before I made it. When I say that, I used to teach fitness around the world, teach teachers who taught other teachers. And I tested a little bit like sound for kids, because kids love to move, and when they're happy, they jump. So if your kid doesn't move, there's something wrong. So you could see it immediately. And also, I found out that kids use sounds when they play. They're like, so I used to test this. So I went to see as many kids as I could around the world, and I spoke to thousands of parents in more than 50 countries before I created LazyTown. It was just the beginning. Like I was like thinking, what can I do about health and how can I get kids to move through games? But so I was thinking about it, and I found out that kids are the same wherever you go, and parents want the same things for the kids. They want the kids to be safe and educated. They want them to don't use violence, don't be stingy, able to follow rules, don't lie and cheat, don't eat, try to eat a little bit more healthy than unhealthy. So those are the LazyTown characters. So I created characters around this issue. And I knew that kids would maybe like it because I used to work a lot with kids. So I knew that they would like it, but I never knew if they would like the TV show. And it was difficult to do a TV show because normally what I did before was live show that you interact with kids. You could really, but when you did a TV show, you couldn't do that. And a lot of TV stations around the world are not buying show for health for kids, especially movement, so it was difficult to sell it. And it was a little bit also, some of the big TV stations in the world told me, okay, we can buy it if you teach kids how to exercise. And I always said kids should not exercise. They should just move, because kids, they know how to move. We don't need to teach them how to move, because you just need to motivate them. So I didn't like that they were. That's why I think kids should never exercise. They should just play. They should do it through a play. So I knew, yes, it would be kids would like it, but could I sell the TV show worldwide? That was an issue.
And that was kind of surprising for you. I mean, looking back at all the success that LazyTown achieved.
What I like the most about it is that when you're in your home, I come from a very small country in Iceland and small town, it was not a lot of opportunities. For example, in my gymnasium, there was nothing. There was a one broken ball, I remember, and that's it. There was basically nothing. So you need to come up with something to do to move. So what I liked about it is that later in life, when kids start to write letters to me or to LazyTown, they said something that I was dreaming that they would get out of it. And that when I got that response back, I really loved it. And I remember once, I think it was in Colombia, but I'm not absolutely sure. I think it was 15 years ago, or something like that, or more, or it was in Argentina. I'm not absolutely sure, but I was in my hotel, and there was it was a quite poor area, and there was a woman cleaning my room. She saw a picture of Sportacus, and she said to me, "Are you Sportacus?" And I said, "Yes, por favor, my kids love it. They are in the kindergarten school nearby here, but it's a very poor kindergarten school. Can they come to your hotel?" And I said, "Yes, that's not a problem." And I said, "I'm finished working at 5 o'clock." And then at 5 o'clock, I went to my room, and they called me up the lobby and said, "Mr. Scheving, there's a major crisis here in the lobby. There are like 100, 150 kids here in the lobby, and you have to come down. And I came down, and there was a lot of kids, and they were from 2 years old to 5 or something. And and I was regular dressed, I was not in the costume. And they were showing me for almost 2-3 hours, they were showing me movement. They were showing me, we can do this, Sporgus, look at it, we can do this one arm push-ups and jumps. And then I realized how much impact it had on kids, because I was a guy from Iceland, not in the costume, and they were showing me, they didn't even know who I was, not really, but they were showing me how proud they were to move. So for me, that gives me an enormous amount of strength to go back to LazyTown and keep working. LazyTown was a hard work. It was 18 hours a day almost for many years. It was an enormous amount of work. I did more than 5,000 jumps a day. And I was doing the whole scene of LazyTown, shooting. I was directing 70 episodes of LazyTown. And then in the evenings, I was running a company, and sometimes I come home at 4 o'clock at night, and then nearly every day, and then back to work at 7 in the costume. So it was quite, and I was never going to play Sporgus because I was too old. When I sold LazyTown, I was almost 31. So it was almost, I was almost
in great shape.
Yeah, I was in good shape, but when you were starting in the end, you were 50, you were struggling, and it was a challenge. But I loved it because always when I went to see kids around the world, they gave me an enormous boost, and I liked it a lot. Yes.
Magnus, muchas gracias por tu tiempo. Y a nuestros seguidores de Capital Inteligente les pedimos que estén muy pendientes de nuestras redes sociales porque seguiremos entrevistando a los conferencistas en el World Business Forum.